Hello, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Hi, Pierre.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
How
Hello.
are you feeling, Elvin?
I'm fine.
Super.
Yep.
Nice
I'm
to
fine.
hear.
Yep. Good to be here. Gotta get my background so you don't see the ugly bedroom I'm in.
It looks like we all have our sweaters and jackets on and
Still cold.
Cold at my house.
How was everything around you yesterday? We had 2 trees down on our street, or at least big tree limbs, not full trees. But and power outages. There were 4 power outages.
We had a part of a fence that fell over. Yeah, so a lot.
Yeah. Nice to have the rain, but
Yeah. Not all at once.
not all at once.
So the good news is that my kids are back. The good news is that I get a lot of disruptions. That's one of my kids. Hi, Rose.
Hi, everyone.
Rose.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Are you feeling better?
Yeah, we recovered.
How's the baby?
Good. She's walking now, so she's much more active and, more, to keep track of.
Walking fast. Seems like you
Yeah.
just had your baby.
Yeah, she's walking she's doing things a little faster than my oldest. She's 10 months and my oldest walked at like 14 months. So I think she just wants to keep up. She just wants to do everything her sister does. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't blame her.
That's cool. Very cool.
I had that too with my 2 boys. They were 19 months apart, and it was hard because they looked like twins. In my case, they looked, because was big. So I think everybody expected him to behave older than what was appropriate. So that was hard for him because, he'd cry. He was little, and yeah, he didn't get a lot of patience. So.
How is it now that they're older? Do they still look like similar, or are they?
No, completely different. And they're very different personalities. So they don't really jive, if I could say that. Right. They put up with each other just because they're different. And the teenagers, especially. Hopefully it'll get better as they mature.
Yeah.
How far apart are they?
19 months.
Oh, that's close. Yeah.
So we thought they'd be close, but it didn't work out that way.
Give them time.
Yeah.
I know. Your siblings are the ones who have to get along even if because they have to.
I'm hoping so.
Hi, Carol.
Okay.
How are you?
Hi, Carol. Hi, Freddie.
Hi, Freddie.
Hi, Freddie.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay. Just Casey won't be here, so I'm flying solo, just so everyone knows.
So do we have a quorum? Yep.
Yep. We
Okay.
can call the meeting to order, and then I'll take roll.
All right. I'll call the meeting to order. So yes, Mary Jo, please take roll.
Okay. Chair Crane.
Here.
Vice Chair Wheeler.
Here.
Commissioner Bedard.
Here.
Commissioner Carter.
Here.
Commissioner Dixit.
Yes.
Commissioner G.
Here.
Everyone is here.
Thank you so much. Could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I will. Give me just a second here to bring up the flag. I can share my screen. Oh, this is the stuff that I'm slow at, so.
Take your time.
forgive me.
I'll say last night I got online and for just a moment, I thought that last night was Thursday and that I had missed this meeting.
Oh,
So upset. Mm.
Okay. Well, you can see it mostly.
Yeah.
Okay. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it serves, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And so I don't see any member of the public, but I would call for any public comments for items not on the agenda. You'll,
We currently don't have any members of the public present.
all right. So our first item are the minutes, and are there any corrections?
I have one, Chair Crane. The date is incorrect. It should be 6:30 p.m. Thursday, December 1st, 2022.
Thank you for that. That's very good. I went right to the content. Any other updates or corrections? If not, do I have a motion for approval?
I move.
Thank you, Carol.
I'll second.
Thank you, Freddie. And so
Okay, take a vote. Chair Crane,
approve. Aye.
Vice Chair Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner Bedard,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter. She made the motion, so Commissioner Carter.
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Dixit,
Yes.
Commissioner G.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous and the minutes are approved with the correction of the date.
Thank you so much. Item 2 is our work plan update. So we do have an attachment. I do think we have one errant page where there's a question, do we really need this page? Nope. So, did everybody have a chance to look at it, review it? Any thoughts, comments? Yes, Freddie.
Julie, so I was just wondering, and I don't see Mayor Meadows tonight on, but I was maybe Mary Jo, so number one, I wanted to know, should we update this? Because we haven't met with the council. And I'm wondering, should we update it? And then secondly, do we have any update on when we're going to meet with the council?
We don't have an update on when we're going to meet with council. They are approving their assignments at the next meeting, which is January 10th. And it isn't on the agenda to set a date for that, but so I don't think anybody has that date yet, but I will reach out to the to Angel on next week, early next week, to see if they have it penciled in somewhere on the horizon and be able to get back to everybody about that. But as of before the holidays, they did not have it scheduled.
So Julie, I was just wondering, I don't know what the rest of the commission thinks, but since we haven't met with them, I'm wondering if it would make sense to update it to the end of 2022 and then, start the 2023 projects, just so that it's, at least we're in the right calendar year. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes, that makes sense. My thought was we could approve it as, you know, in a draft form, or at least get some feedback from people that we're moving in the right direction, the wrong direction. I know that we did keep, Sally on her name, although it wasn't clear if she would still be assigned. So, yeah, I think that makes sense. Any other thoughts, comments? Nelvin, Pierre, you had such a big part of this.
Yeah, I think this is a decent first draft. What I would recommend is once we have a date, we scrub it further. I noticed that some things were basically in the status column, when really it sounds like they were more plans for what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm. I think I agree. I also think hopefully we'll have the benefit of the county's strategic goals at some point, hopefully soon.
I think they're published now on the website, the
Okay.
county's website. Jennifer's there. She could tell us. Yeah.
Evening, commissioners. Mary Jo, sorry, I think I'm off topic. I mean, but I'm happy to chime in and answer the question. So we are starting our public rollout in early February, and I will have a report on the strategic plan at your meeting then. Does that help? Chair Crane kind of put some alignment, yes?
Yes, I think that's
Okay.
very helpful.
Okay.
Any other comments? Any other or specific comments on the plan that we have here?
It looks great. It's a great job.
Well, and I would defer to Pierre and Nelvin. I came in kind of at the end, so yes. I think, yeah, it's a great job. Okay. So it doesn't appear that we'll take any action tonight on this, but you know, this was here for your review. Yes, Pierre. Oh, I'm sorry.
I had my hand up.
I see that.
For once.
Do better.
once. No, I think it's a good, I agree with what Nelvin was saying, and also what Vice Chair Wheeler's intimated about, you know, who our new person is that we'll work with on the council. And I think, you know, I think this is a great start, maybe a meeting with them, you know, Chair Crane on your own to just sort of like go over what your role is and what's going on. If it's somebody new, you know, if it's Nisa or Sally,
Yeah.
I mean, they know it. But I mean, the action we could take tonight is we could approve the draft form if there's no substantial comments, is my only suggestion.
Any other thoughts? Do I hear a motion? Yes, Pierre.
Yeah, I move that we approve the draft form of the 2023 Library Commission work plan.
I'll second that.
Thank you. So
Minus the slide that PDB said to get rid of.
Okay,
I don't know. I didn't mean to add that to the motion, but
I understand. It says revised.
so the motion is to approve the draft work plan.
The draft with the exception of the work plan slide.
Okay, we will take a vote. Chair Crane,
Approved, yes.
Vice Chair Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner Bedard,
aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Dixit,
Yes.
Commissioner G.
Aye.
Okay, so unanimously approved.
Thank you so much. Make sure I close those here. So the next item up for discussion is NCLA future spending. Unfortunately, Cindy can't be here due to a family issue, which she notified me about, and Freddie, I think maybe you as well. So unless anybody else is prepared to discuss that, I don't think we have any a discussion about that tonight. Okay,
Do we want to move it to,
Yes,
okay.
yes, she anticipates being back for the next meeting. Thank you. And then the fourth item is a special meeting. And so this is to discuss scheduling a special meeting in January, February. This is something that I would like to do as chair. We have attached minutes from the March 9th, 2020 special agenda meeting. My thought was originally to do this in January. I don't think we're going to be able to get that done. So perhaps we do this. I think it's best for us to consider our availability in February. And the idea was to have us come together, much like we did on this previous date. We have our supporters, the people, friends of the library and CLA, sorry, all of our, supportive groups to come together and to have us, we can work on an agenda. We can talk about it tonight. Have us, sort of once again orient ourselves. I think it's been 2 years, so I think it would be great for us to re-engage as a team which is here to support the library. Talk about our interests. My idea was to have a gallery walk where we could walk around and see, examples of libraries, different services, different opportunities. And so we could come together and discuss sort of, a roadmap for the next 9 months. And, specifically, I'll be honest with you, opportunities for a new library. That was my goal. So we could do this in the new community center. Hopefully we can get the big room. And I have, as chair, I have, and thanks to Pierre, who's, guided me on this, I have sat down and talked with different people. I talked to Gabe. I've talked to Nisa. I've set different meetings with different people to, introduce myself and re-engage in the library. And so I think this would be a great opportunity for all of us to come together and talk about the future of the library and what we would like to see, and just re-engage as a community of groups that support the library. So I'll pause there and get your feedback. Yes, sure.
I think it would be lovely. I've actually joined at a time when we were all remote and have continued to be so. So it would be really nice to actually meet in person and get some time. But how long do we think this special meeting would be? I mean, is it a few hours long or a day long? What does usually happen?
Well, I think we can open it up. I mean, I think we can talk about the agenda. Pierre, I'm interested in how long this would last. I mean, my thought was not to have comments go on for a great deal of time, but I like to keep a meeting running. And so we would have the different groups make a small presentation, or a short presentation, I should say, with respect to their interests, do a gallery walk, have some refreshments, but I don't think any of it, I don't know. I don't have the stamina for much more than several hours. So that would be my thought. Yeah. Pierre.
In 2020, it was orchestrated and people were given a set amount of time to talk. There was also public comment and members of the public did show up. But I don't know if any other members of the commission, Commissioner Vice Chair Wheeler, if you were there, but how long, if you have any recollection of how it went. I seem to remember 2 hours.
That sounds about right.
But definitely scripted in terms of when people speak and, expectations as to your, the folks presenting. Definitely.
That sounds good. That sounds really good.
Other commissioner comments? Carol, Freddie, Nelvin?
I have a comment, Julie, or I just want to have a question, basically.
Of course.
So if the goal of this meeting is to talk about a new library, Is that what the goal of the meeting is to talk about how each group feels about the prospects of a new library and what they would do to support it, or?
So from my perspective, and I'm one person here, that's not the overriding goal. I think the overriding goal is to get the groups together and to sort of re-engage as a community, to remind us all, I'm still new and I'm still trying to figure out what everybody does. And so it's just to re-engage more than anything else. If there is an opportunity to discuss sort of a, future roadmap, then I think we open it up to that. Or future services. Mm-hmm.
Do we go to this meeting with a list of items that we want to discuss that we have sent to them ahead of time? Is that the way it works?
I think we would have an agenda, and that would make a great deal of sense. Absolutely.
Or do they have our agenda ahead of time so they are prepared? Okay, well, so we can have the idea of a new library on that agenda for discussion.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't want to discuss it, that's another issue. But we will just have a list of things that we want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good.
So just the special meeting will have a published agenda, just like our regular meetings will. So it will operate very much the way this meeting does in terms of needing to stick to the agenda in what has been previously published. We don't have to publish quite as far in advance. That's the only difference.
Has this been scheduled, this meeting?
No.
When do you expect it to take place?
So I think we would need to talk about availability. Originally, I know I had talked to Gabe and he had talked about the third week in January. I think that's a little too quick. And thank you to Commissioner G, who suggested that we give ourselves more time. And so I think we look in February. So the idea would be to look for a date that we could, that the majority of people could do, and especially if we have our commissioner liaison, I would want them to be available.
Freddie's going to be gone for much of February. I'm going to be gone for a week in the middle of February.
Okay.
So,
When are you going to be gone, Carol?
I'll be gone the 18th to the 25th.
Okay.
And I'll be gone early February.
I'll be gone February. I'm leaving January 19th and I'm coming back February 15th. So I'd be available this February 16th going forward.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Nelvin?
Yeah, I'll be gone, I think, the first 2 weeks of February.
Okay. Okay. So it's definitely looking like the latter half.
Well, it's like the end of February.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the very end, after the 25th.
After the 25th.
Yeah, well, I get back on the 25th.
Right.
And
Charlie,
then-
do you have any pre-planned?
No, I'm right here.
Okay. And so those are the things I think we would need to consider is when can we do this? When can we get everybody together? And so I'll be honest with you, Mary Jo, I'm not sure how to assess people's availability. Jennifer, we would love it if you could be there. Rose, we would love it if you could be there. I mean, would you otherwise be available at the end of February?
Right, you're asking Rose and Jennifer that?
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I'm available, yes.
So certainly we'll do our best to have staff available for you guys.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Any specific thoughts on agenda items? Like I said, we touched.
Since, Julie, I was wondering, since this is about the library and what each of these groups, what they want to do for the library, it might be good for the agenda to just say, something big and, like, what are your goals and vision for your group with respect to the library for this coming year. And that way they could talk about what their plans are. And then maybe we could have this agenda item about a new library as a topic for all of us to talk about.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Any other thoughts? I'm looking for hands. I don't miss hands. Pierre.
Only that we do have, I would probably move it to very early March.
Okay.
And just, that would just put a stake in the ground and see where it goes. But there is an existing, the existing agenda from back in 2020 was very general. And a huge purpose in this is for people to know there are so many people who care about the library in our community across so many communities. Many times people don't know what the others are doing. So just that alone is a huge help, I think, to the community.
Mm-hmm. And I'd love to meet you all in person. Little selfish of me. And of course, we'd want to make sure that everybody is comfortable with appropriate health standards and safety standards. Any other thoughts, feedback? Okay, so we'll look at the end of February. I think, Pierre, it's a great idea, maybe early March at this point, putting together an agenda. Perhaps I can take a stab at an agenda, which I can attach to the next meeting. And so we can review it and get a little bit more feedback from some of our partners. Any final comments on this before we move on?
I would just reach out to Elaine and Cindy to see if they're available early March, end of February.
Mm-hmm.
I know Elaine's not going to be here tonight because she sent me another email saying she wasn't.
Okay. Well, perfect. Thank you so much. I will do that. Great idea. All right. If there's no other comments, we wanted to move on to our partner updates. And I have some notes for NCLA and Lolly, but first, do we want to have a Friends update?
I can give you the Friends update. I'm reading this from Elaine's email. There is little news with the Friends. That's good news. Our next sale will be at the community center on February 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Our Amazon sales and ongoing sale are doing well, as is the newly reopened cafe. We now have joined with the library in support of 3 family programs at the community center, in addition to supporting the programs in the library. Next week at our board meeting, we will vote on support for programs in 2023.
Okay, thank you. And the only update I had from Cindy was that just 2 small ones. The NCLA will meet on January 30th at 5 p.m. The agenda will be determined, and Lolly meets Tuesday, January 10th. Anything else? No?
I can just give you a little update. We are recruiting new board members for Lolly and have been doing very well. We have, I believe, 4 new members and 1 to be voted on Tuesday. We have a new website, and it's just been launched. And so things are exciting and making progress.
That's tremendous. We need to know how you did it. We could use that. Thank you so much. Any other questions, comments, to the extent we can answer them? Okay, so now we have the commission subcommittee oral reports. The first up is the Santa Clara County Library District presentations.
Good evening again, commissioners. Jennifer Weeks, Santa Clara County Library District. Nice to see you all. So just a brief report as we begin 2023. I can't believe we've started a new year. We started off brightly with our new star rating. So the public library survey that is participated by public libraries across the nation. As we have been a star ranked library for the last 15 years. We have a 5-star, which means we are at the highest category. And this really is thanks to our team's hard work and really the community's value and use of the library. So all of these statistics are based on who's coming through the door, how many items are getting checked out, the financial support that we get from, our taxes and all of our community, and how our staff really serve each and every patron in the various ways with programs, resources, and services. So we are number 2 in our category. So we're very excited about that. I know the question is probably, how do we get to be number 1? We're working on that. But we're very excited about the recognition really of our team's very hard work. And again, just the value that the community has for the library. The other thing newly launched on our website are virtual library tours. So, Chair Crane, as you were talking about looking at other libraries, even if you can't get to all of our libraries locally, you can now see them virtually on our website. So that's fun to have that available for people. It's also for us an accessibility tool in terms of helping people prepare for their visit or showing children what to expect. So we're excited to be here in the Silicon Valley and offering these continued virtual and in-person options. January 26th is a very big day for us. It is our JPA board and the kickoff of Silicon Valley Reads. So it will be held at De Anza College. I hope you've all taken a chance to read one or more of the books, and the 3 main authors will be there that night in person. We're excited about that. It is the 20th anniversary. Lots of New Year's celebrations, the Lunar New Year coming up in just a week or so. So lots of wonderful in-person events at our libraries. I hope you'll catch a lion dance or an orchestra presentation. And then lastly, if you would like to meet each other in person, I hope you'll all come to the forum on Saturday, February 4th. So all of you should have received a punch bowl invitation for that. Please let me or Rose know if you have not received it. This is an in-person event. I know a few of you have been to them before, so I hope you'll put it. I know travels and other things happen, but I hope those of you who are in town will be able to attend. We will be focused on our strategic plan. We also have a special session called Making New Friends, because we know we have that goal of connection and hearing from other groups, not only within Los Altos, but in the library district. So that is my news. Happy to take any questions, of course.
Where is this event? Where?
Oh, I'm sorry. It will be at our headquarters in Campbell at 1370 Dell Avenue.
Any other questions, comments? I think congratulations on number 2. I think it's good. In this community, people don't think it's good, but it's good.
There's a nice article in the Mercury.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so next is the main library staff report.
Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen. And start my presentation. Okay, so Happy New Year, everyone. We have some breaking news that just came out today that starting tomorrow, the county is no longer requiring masks for staff and for patrons, but it's highly recommending masks. So that starts tomorrow, and with the Friends Cafe opening, that will be a nice addition to allow patrons to actually eat their snacks in the library. Yeah, we just wanted to make that announcement, and as things move forward, we'll see how it affects our programs and affects things. But yeah, so just want to say that. Sorry. I wanted to welcome Marianne Bradley. She is our new passport clerk, and some other news for Passport is that we will start allowing passport photos very soon now that the mask mandate is gone. So we had stopped passport photos when we brought back passport services because of the mask mandate, but we're happy to bring those services back. She's coming to us from Cupertino and has already done such a great job in taking her role as passport clerk. So if you do get passport assistance, you'll probably see her there. So statistics, actually, after I submitted this report, our December statistics did come in, and you'll see we actually had quite a jump in December. So it did fluctuate, I think, in the holidays, and I think sometimes there is a decline, but I was happy to see an increase. You'll see patrons served online does continue to be steady. That's our consistent. I've noticed that since, we were shut down for the pandemic, and people continue to rely on our online resources a lot too. And patrons served in person is fluctuated, but as I mentioned, it did go up in December. Highlights from December programs that we had. We had a wreath making program. We have a staff member, Joel, who does this program at several libraries and does a great job. And we had the Fratello Marionettes. They had the North Pole Review, and we had a floral centerpiece program so that families could or kids can make floral centerpieces for the holidays. So those were very fun. And the family fun day at the community center, the last one we had, I think, or that we partnered with the Friends and with the Parks and Recs, was at I think about 200 people. So it was very, very popular. Some future programs that we have, we're going to have our World Affairs, we have a winter writing workshop, we have an Eating Healthy program for the new year. As Jennifer mentioned, we will have lion dancers for Lunar New Year. On January 14th, we have our book clubs, our furry friends. So our programs are doing really well. Last Saturday, we had a New Year's Eve program for children. So at noon, they had a little countdown with a balloon drop, which was really fun. The children's staff did such a great job with that one. Our story times are doing really well. And so is our bilingual Spanish story time has been consistently well attended. Outreach, I'm sorry, it was 150 participants. I think the previous one was 200 for the outreach. So we have the Chinese school, Feltus Chinese School, and Family Fun Day. And in January, we have the Los Altos Chinese School again on January, or we had it on January, or I'm sorry, yeah, we had it already. Sorry, I'm lost track of the dates. I wanted to share some patron praise. This patron is part of our ESL Conversation Club, and she gave a compliment to Laura, who is our librarian that runs it, talking about how she was able to get a job and due to being part of the Conversation Club. And so she was just very grateful for us having that program available to her. So it was very nice to hear that. And that's all I have.
I have a question for you, Rose.
Sure.
I noticed in the main library that there is a game in the lobby. Could you tell us about that, and whether that is a permanent exhibit or whether you're going to have games there all the time?
Yeah, so that's our Everbright. It's rotates between all the libraries. So every 6 months, the Everbright goes to a different library. So at this time, I think that's all we have that rotates. But if you have other ideas, we could consider getting something. The patrons love it, both young and older. And so, yeah, I think the lobby is a good spot to have it too.
So there will always be a game of some sort in the lobby?
No, not at this time. We don't have, I think the Everbright's the main one that we have that rotates at this time.
Okay. I was wondering if you wanted us to publicize that, make people aware of that.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, I could work with the subcommittee on that. We could put something in our ads, or I'm pretty sure we put it on social media and with the Los Altos local publicity, but we could look into other ways to publicize it.
Now these are always interactive games, right? You stand there and play the game. Is that the way it works?
Yeah, it's not really a game. It's more of kind of like you can make designs. You can so you could do it solo. You could do it together. So it's kind of more of a, I don't know how to call it, but it's more of an interactive panel, like panel.
Are there directions for how to do this?
We have some on the panel. It's just you turn the knobs and they change color.
So
and,
there are some directions for how to do it.
Yeah, just on the panel itself, we have some basic instructions there.
Good.
But thank you, Cal.
Thank
That's a
you.
great idea.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? I just want to say it warmed my heart to see the gentleman in the yellow rain cover who is out at our fairly new book drop.
Yes, and sorry, I forgot to point him out, but that's Kaon, and he, yes, he was braving the storm. I was just at Woodland the other day, and I told him I have to take a picture of him, but he was out there emptying the book drop. And coincidentally, Kaon is actually our Open Plus kind of clerk, so he's our senior clerk at Woodland. So if you do go to visit during Open Plus hours, you may see him there. So feel free to say hi. He's very nice.
Just kind of curious, how often do you have to empty that book drop?
So they've been emptying it, I believe, every 2 to 3 hours, and they are open 24 hours now at both locations. Woodlands actually tends to get more than Little Saltos one due to the nature of the parking lot at Woodland, but they're both doing very well with returns.
That's great to hear. We made a difference in book drop. So thank you. Any other comments, Pierre?
So I hate to ask, Rose, but there was a parking incident that I had seen on Nextdoor where someone tried to do a book drop, I guess, on the existing books or book return. Somebody wedged a car in the library. Do you know about that? Or
Yes, I think the city took care of it. I believe I was on vacation when it happened. Bryant was working out of class, but it was I don't know the details. I think that it was in our parking lot, so the city took care of it. It didn't damage anything with the library, so
it was quite amazing. It was as if they wanted to drop books in the the current thing. I was just looking at that going, oh my God, what did we do something wrong with the book drop directions? Anyway, thank you. Good report.
It's crazy.
So thank you so much. Anything else? Yes, Shari.
Julie, Chair Crane, tell me if this is an incorrect space to talk about this, but is it possible to discuss the parking area becoming a one-way so that people go in from San Antonio but come out only from Hillview? Because it's becoming very tight over there. Anytime you go, the cars have become bigger, the spaces have become smaller, or it seems so, and it's very inconvenient. When one is parked, it's almost twice it's happened that I couldn't get out of my driver's seat door because somebody was parked so close. Is it possible that we can try to talk about making it one way?
Well, the other thing, Shari, is that people are not driving very well.
Yes.
You know, what your experience was an example of that. People are very sloppy about driving.
Oh,
And I think you're
sloppy driving and
really good.
badly behaved. Badly behaved. There have been numerous gestures. I mean, library, come on, you can't find a more peaceful pursuit, but you have this kind of angst that you show gesture. Oh.
So I definitely think we can, Mary Jo. I think we'd have to agendize it to fully discuss it and probably talk to we'd have to take it, or should it be considered in a subcommittee and we take it back to the vote on it as a full commission, and then perhaps take it as a proposal to the city engineers or the city?
It might be something for the infrastructure.
Maybe Nelvin did that great parking study for the infrastructure subcommittee. Maybe we could reopen and just make a recommendation that this, or I wonder if, we could just simply ask Gabe what the proper avenue for this is, because maybe his people who do traffic engineering could look at it.
Okay, if you'd like, I can take that.
Yeah, I think if you just talk to Gabe and tell him the problem and ask him if one of his traffic engineers has a chance to look at it. Because you're right, it is very narrow.
It is. Okay, I'll take that action. And we'll see what we can do. Thank you for that. The next one is the city staff update.
Okay, so I don't have a lot. We are sort of in between seasons with recreation programming, with winter classes start next week. And so we get rolling, and we've all been out. We have a sort with the storms, there's a little bit of a slow start to the new year. I did want to mention that the city has created a webpage for information and resources regarding the storm. It is at losaltos.gov/storm alert. And it has some resources there and information about how to prepare, and even information about, like, right now, if you see a down tree or a down power line and things like that, what can be done. So I just wanted to share that. The next thing is that the city hall renovation is complete. And so the next city council meeting on the 10th will still be hybrid, but it will be from council chambers for the first time in a very long time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's exciting. Unfortunately, with the storms, we have had to cancel our New Year fun run, which was originally scheduled for the Saturday coming up. And just with the possibility of more rain and flooding, we've had to cancel that. So, the Family Fun Days will continue in 2023. We're very excited about that. Our December Family Fun Day was very well attended. It's very hard for us to count, but we do believe we had at least 600 to 650 people at the community center that day. And the library's activity is very, very popular. We moved them into the Grand Oak Room so they would have enough space, because they had before been in a smaller space and it was way too crowded. And so we are asking the Friends to continue their co-sponsorship of the events. And we will be reaching out to library staff again to see if they want to continue to participate in those. And we're aiming for February for the first one, and we're aiming for 6 for the year. but none of that is set in stone yet. We are planning on partnering also with the History Museum on the reopening of their permanent exhibit, which is scheduled for February. They haven't announced the final date yet, but there will be, they're doing a big ribbon cutting event, and we'll be partnering with them, Community Center, on that as well. I think the only other thing I wanted to mention was that at our last meeting, Mayor Meadows mentioned that it might be nice for us to include something about Open Plus in the city manager's update. And I spoke to the PIO office, and they're very open to it. And they just need either library staff or someone from the commission to do a little write-up on it. And I can get that to the PIO's office, and then it can be included in the city manager weekly update, and one coming up soon. I wasn't sure if we wanted to do that while it's still in testing mode, or wait until it's running full steam, but that's up to all of you. But just to let you know that we can do it, and that they're really open to doing that. And that is all I have.
That's great. Any questions, comments? I don't know if Rose is still there, but I would encourage her to, if she wants to provide that write-up. I was wondering, what is the permanent exhibit for the History Museum? Is there a theme or?
Yeah, so the Los Altos, you're familiar with the Los Altos History Museum, and they have had a permanent exhibit in the upstairs gallery for many, many, many years. And they have updated the exhibit. It's about the land. It focuses on the land in Los Altos, and it focuses on the hidden histories and hidden stories of Los Altos. And it's very interactive. It's all updated, lots of screens. Right now they have, in the little space in the community center that will become the cafe someday, fingers crossed, they have a little preview going in there. So there's a video, and you can see sort of the idea of what it's going to be like, but it's completely updated. It's a really big deal. I think it's going to be really nice. And they've worked with a lot of different groups, the Muwekma, Ohlone, and a lot of other groups, to really highlight the diversity of the land and the people who came before all of us. So I think it's going to be really exciting.
That's wonderful. I'm wondering if we can do a book tie-in at the library to sort of support a similar theme. Yeah. That's a question for Rose. Yeah. Okay, great. Any other comments, questions? If not, we can move on to our subcommittee reports, and first up is awareness.
Awareness is continuing to work on the monthly Lolly ads, and if I can share my screen, this is the ad for January. This is Discover and Go, which is a great resource that the library offers. You can get free passes to all kinds of venues, and both, of interest to children and adults, and both. So we're highlighting that in the January issue of the Town Crier, which will come out next week. And then just coincidentally, when you're looking for something to say about Open Plus, we agreed to have Open Plus as the topic for February, because it will be out of beta testing and it will be fully launched and ready to roll. I mean, it is ready to roll now, but it's, it'll be fully launched in February. So this is the ad for February, which will highlight Open Plus for the Woodland Branch Library. We have, let me stop sharing. We're going,
Freddie,
yes, Carol,
can you go back to that ad?
yes. Mhm. Yes, can you see it?
Where it says on the right side, access the library early by simply scanning your library. The word is missing. You wanted to say library card.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I didn't pick that up before.
Okay. Let me stop sharing. In March, we're going to highlight, at Rose's suggestion, resources to help navigate the financial crises, which is business, Morningstar, Standard & Poor, Value Line, those types of resources in the library online. One of the things that we talked about doing is polling to ask people for their input and their ideas about what resources and services and events that they think should be publicized via these Lolly ads. And we wanted to ask our fellow library commissioners for their input. So if you have ideas about what resources, the services, anything that the library offers that you think would be good for the library to have publicized, if you could let us know, we would greatly appreciate your input. The other thing we thought about was, a couple of, it's been a few, maybe a few months now ago, the town crier advertised that they were going to do a weekly poll and that they were going to let people, from the public suggest topics for this weekly poll. So we thought we might formulate a question for the town crier and ask them if they would run that for their weekly poll to ask the community for input about what new services or facilities or resources, events they might like to see at one of the libraries. And then finally, we're going to reapply to Lolly for funding for 2023 for these Lolly ads. And that concludes the report from the Awareness Subcommittee. Any questions? Pierre?
Real on the Open Plus, Rose isn't on, or she may be, but I think they were going with a different branding.
Well,
they were going to name it something other, or did they change? I don't know. That's the last I heard.
I always use the logo that I have available to me, and then they pick the logo that they want to use. So
I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Yeah,
but it looks great.
Thank you.
And
Sorry. Yes. Yeah, you're right, Pierre. I'm still working with Freddie on making the ad final for the thing. So thank you.
So yes, Nelvin.
I was just thinking that if you were to go out and do some polling about what services people want to see advertised, that it ought to be an inverse one. So in other words, select a few new services that the commission and the librarians are aware of, and then see which ones have the lowest response. And that should be the one that you focus on because you want to educate the public on that service, right?
Okay, so let me just make sure I hear what you're saying, Nelvin. I'm going to try to repeat it back. You're saying I should ask that the committee should ask the librarians what new services they're offering and are getting the least amount of play. And then
or just ask for a list of services, and the ones that the people answering the poll say they've heard the least of, that would be the one that would be take the top priority in terms of, providing some level of education, because you want to increase awareness, right?
I hear you. I see. Okay, I know. I understand what you're saying. So you're saying you have a list of services, new services, and then ask people, have you heard of these or not? And the ones that they haven't heard of, publicize them. I got it. Okay.
Yep.
I have to write this down. I don't remember.
I take notes too.
My pea brain. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
So next infrastructure. And
Okay.
thank you for your committee reports too.
You're welcome. Got to find, here it is. Okay, so in the infrastructure subcommittee, what we've been concentrating on is the next steps for the Woodland expanded patio project. So that was approved by the entire commission last meeting. And we have since met with Jennifer and talked to Jennifer about gathering input as far as we had a whole list of questions for Jennifer for us to discuss, and it's to gather information and data to help us make a good presentation to the council and other bodies that we're going to go to going forward, like Lolly, others, etc. We've also met with Rose, and we've asked Rose for information. And what we're looking for essentially is we want to be sure that we can speak to the benefits that this patio will provide the library, that they would not, programs, et cetera, that they would not have been able to conduct without this patio. We're trying to be able to do essentially a cost benefit analysis, but with a library, the costs are really, trying to do a cost benefit analysis the way you would in business. It's more of a, what kind of programs could you present? What kind of events can you hold that you couldn't? What kind of children's programs, et cetera. So we're trying to get all that information. We're also trying to gather information about other outdoor library projects. And what we want to do is get all of this together and update our presentation to get rid of some of the specific information that we had about cost, add more of the benefits, and then we want to meet with Cindy to talk about proposing to Lolly that they would perhaps fund a feasibility study that would help us gather some real data that we would then have to be able to go forward and speak to the council, et cetera. And Gabe, when we met with him, he suggested that as soon as we get most of this data ready, the subcommittee is going to ask to meet with Gabe, and I think Sally will be our liaison. She had, on the list of who was assigned to what, she was continues on as the library liaison. So hopefully we would be able to meet with Gabe and Sally to talk about next steps. And he's been very, very helpful in guiding us as to what to do. So that's what we've been doing a lot of work on. And then again, we are talking about how can we gather input regarding what infrastructure needs are unmet for our two library branches. And Rose was kind enough at our last infrastructure meeting to go over the library budgeting process for the individual library and then for the district and how that's all rolled up. And we've discussed trying to formulate a question for the community again about what services they are, they might like to have, or what it has to be an infrastructure question for this subcommittee. What do people, what would they like to see in either one of the libraries? And again, we wanted to poll our fellow commissioners for your ideas about what you think from an infrastructure point of view might be either needed or fun to have at either of our libraries. And I believe that's everything that we've talked about. Any questions? Anybody from the subcommittee have any input beyond what I said?
I think you covered it very well.
Thank you. Questions? Pierre?
Only one comment in terms of how you're doing your valuation on the new space. I don't know who would get the credit for people coming into the area, i.e. would it be like the county that counts the heads coming in? And does that relate to funding? It's just something I was thinking of when you spoke.
Thank you.
Yeah, my thought would be to talk to the local schools, because you have St. Simon, you have Montclair, and just to see if those schools and or, you know, the families in those schools, the PTAs, the PTOs, you know, would like to lend a voice to the wonderful garden idea that you're having there. It would also be interesting to have it as I'm kind of into California native gardens, so I don't know if we could get anybody to help us in that regard.
Well, actually, we talked about that. We talked about approaching Greentown because they did the Boy Scouts and Greentown did the garden that's all native plants that is currently at Woodland. And we talked about approaching them to just extend that garden into the patio area as part of, you know, an extension of that project that they already have there. So native plants, you know, low on water consumption would be absolutely necessary, or we think that would be at least smart.
Yeah.
And we are looking, you know, we have talked about that. We've talked about who can we partner with to do increments of this patio. You know, obviously the Public Arts Commission has talked about benches. We've thought about approaching Greentown. So we will be looking for partners to help us. And Gabe has told us all along that if we can go to the city with some partial funding, that will help us a great deal in getting across the finish line. And of course, the money for a project like this would come out of park and lieu fees, which doesn't compete with the capital improvement projects that are so necessary and so underfunded for our city at the moment. So that is a very good thing. So, you know, we're not robbing the police department to get a patio, for example.
Yeah, I think PTOs and PTAs could be in positions to donate small amounts. And I am, you know, I'm a active supporter of Troop 33. So if you need scouts,
Good.
Eagle projects to do some Eagle projects, those are, yeah, remarkable.
Fantastic. That's great. So yes, we're looking for all the community help we can get, that we can muster. So thank you.
That's great. Any other thoughts? Any other questions? Okay, moving on. Futures. I don't know if anybody wants to report on the futures. I think much of what we put together for the proposed get together is about the future of the library. So I think that stands for the work that we've done. Pierre, Melvin, anything to add?
Have people tried the or signed up for the beta? Now I forgot the bloody name for the early access for coming into Woodland early. I actually signed up for the beta. and came in at early hours. I wondered if anybody else in the commission had taken advantage of that.
I am supposed to, but I haven't gone in yet.
I went over and they were closed. I don't know what was wrong with.
I
You
have
picked
it
the
on my
wrong
list
day.
of
I
things
went.
to
I
do.
went the day after New Year's. Whatever that. I guess the 2nd, and it's an official holiday, much to my chagrin. So
Well, I have to say it's very nice to have the library to oneself and just sort of walk around. And I went on an early Sunday. Kai was there. All the newspapers were laid out for me. I mean, it was quite a curated view, but it is a great experience. I only wish I lived closer to Woodland to take advantage of it more.
It's wonderful to hear you talk about it because it seems like a slice of heaven to have the library all to yourself, doesn't it? Wow.
You can pretend.
And then finally, the services. We
We did not meet.
did not meet.
We postponed our meeting, but I'm very gratified to hear about the boxes and how accepted they've been and how quickly they fill up.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I mean, it's good to see use, and it does help parking. But one way all the way. No.
All right, yeah, let's get ourselves on calendar so we can do some updating because we do have some things that we're looking at. With that, our final item is requests for future agenda items. I think we're going to put on the special meeting again, so we'll have that on the future agenda. Anything else?
Do we need to get parking? What Commissioner Dixit was talking about, should that be an item for discussion at least, or
I think it should be. I can at least
we
report.
decide?
you can report what Gabe has to say, what they'll do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or if there's something else we should do in the interim, like refer it to one of our committees.
Or, I wonder, I have no idea, but if Complete Streets, if this is their purview, I have no idea.
Mm.
I can find out.
Okay.
I can talk to somebody there and see if that's something they would be in charge of.
What I'll do is I'll reach out to Gabe and Mary Jo. I'll copy you on the email. And then maybe that could also serve as an opportunity to address the question.
Should
So
we? Apologize. Sorry, I should have raised my hand. But should we have talk about the work plan again? And have another discussion if there are any comments, so just to bring it up.
I think we should probably have it agendized just so that we can discuss it if there's a need to, yeah.
If we have any follow-up, maybe Mary Jo can find out if they're gonna, put it on the agenda, if you can find anything from Angel.
Anything else?
I have a question, I think for Mary Jo,
Yes,
or if it's an appropriate time.
yes.
I believe we ran an ad in the Crier looking for someone to represent Los Altos Hills on the commission.
That's
And
correct.
you were going to, I believe it was you, Mary Jo, were going to contact your opposite number in Los Altos Hills and find out. And I'd like an update on that.
Yeah, so there is a candidate who is actually attending the meeting, Christine Fawcett. And she is going to be, she gets going to council in Los Altos Hills this week or next week. And they are voting on her membership on the commission.
Great.
I
Excellent.
think, yeah.
I hope you still want to be on the commission.
We were on good behavior. We always are good behavior.
Yes, it'll be really very nice to have somebody join.
I'm sorry I was late, but I had trouble with the internet on my laptop, and eventually I realized I could log in on the phone.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. Well, wonderful. Well, we're very glad to have you here and taking a look. So thank you so much.
I tried to come last month, but I didn't know it was a Zoom meeting. I went to the library.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's something we have to talk about. Pierre, did you have anything? I thought you raised your hand.
Well, I didn't, that is something to talk about, is when are we going to be meeting live?
Why don't we agendize
Any-
that to talk about that?
We have a special meeting, right? We'll meet then.
We've got one.
Well, I'm wondering, I mean, it's possible if our new member is voted in, our meeting in February is early, and from what we talked about, it looks like there's a few commissioners who will be absent. But if there's 2 commissioners that will be absent and we have a new commissioner, we can still have a quorum for February. So that all is in the balance. If we don't have a new commissioner, then we won't have a quorum for February.
Okay.
But anyway, just a,
Okay, so maybe we keep us informed, and so we'll know that. Okay. Anybody else gonna have a concern about February? Any of the people who?
You're talking about the first week?
The first week, I guess. Yeah.
I'll be here.
Okay.
I'm out.
I'm
Right.
out.
I just want to know why nobody asked me what I was doing. That's all.
We expect you to be always here.
This is true. This is true. Or I would expect you to speak up if you weren't. All right. Anything else for the good of the commission or the library? No? All right. Thank you so much for your time tonight, commissioners, guests. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.